Ever felt like love is a chaotic, confusing, and downright hilarious mess? Well, you're not alone. Welcome to ancient Athens, where we're about to dive into one of Shakespeare's most magical and mixed-up comedies. A Midsummer Night's Dream. Our story kicks off in the court of Theseus, the Duke of Athens. He's super excited because he's about to marry Hippolyta, the queen of the Amazons. Everything seems peachy, but then a grumpy dad named Aegeus storms in, dragging his daughter Hermia with him. Here's the deal. Aegeus wants Hermia to marry a guy named Demetrius. Hermia, however, is head over heels in love with another guy, Lysander. And to make things even more complicated, Hermia's best friend, Helena, is desperately in love with Demetrius, who used to like her but now only has eyes for Hermia. It's a classic messy love square. Duke Theseus lays down the law. Hermia must either marry Demetrius, become a nun, or face death. Seriously, Athenian laws were harsh. Faced with these terrible options, Hermia and Lysander decide to do what any pair of star-crossed lovers would do. They plan to elope. They agree to meet in the woods outside the city and run away together. They whisper their secret plan, but who overhears them? None other than poor lovesick Helena. Now Helena has let's call it a questionable idea. She thinks that if she tells Demetrius about Hermia and Lysander's plan, he'll be so grateful that he'll fall back in love with her. So she spills the beans. As you can probably guess, this plan backfires spectacularly. Demetrius, furious, decides to chase Hermia and Lysander into the woods, and Helena, ever the optimist, chases after him. So now we have four young lovers running around a dark, enchanted forest. What could possibly go wrong? Well, this isn't just any forest. It's the magical realm of the fairies, ruled by King Oberon and Queen Titania. And surprise, surprise, they're having a massive argument. They're fighting over a changeling boy, a human child that Titania has adopted. Oberon wants the boy for his own entourage, but Titania refuses to give him up. Their fighting is so intense that it's messing with the seasons and the weather in the human world. To get his revenge and teach Titania a lesson, Oberon comes up with a mischievous plan. He sends his right-hand fairy, the playful and chaotic Puck, also known as Robin Goodfellow, to find a special flower. This flower, called Love in Idleness, has magical juice. If you squeeze it onto someone's sleeping eyelids, they'll fall madly in love with the first living thing they see when they wake up. Oberon plans to use this on Titania, hoping she'll fall for some ridiculous creature, forcing her to give him the boy. As Puck zips off to find the flower, Oberon overhears Demetrius being incredibly cruel to Helena in the woods. He's telling her to get lost, that he hates her, the whole 9 yards. Feeling a bit sorry for Helena, Oberon decides to play matchmaker. He tells Puck that after he's dealt with Titania, he should find an Athenian man in the woods and use the flower on him so he falls for the girl who's chasing him. Simple enough, right? Puck is an agent of chaos and he does not disappoint. He finds Lysander and Hermia sleeping. Seeing a man in Athenian clothes, Puck assumes this must be the guy Oberon was talking about. So he squeezes the love potion into Lysander's eyes. Who should stumble upon the sleeping Lysander but Helena, still chasing Demetrius? She wakes Lysander up, and bam, the potion works its magic. Lysander instantly forgets all about Hermia and declares his undying love for Helena. Helena, completely bewildered, thinks he's mocking her. She's heartbroken and angry and runs off with a very confused Lysander in hot pursuit. Just then, Hermia wakes up from a nightmare about a snake eating her heart, a pretty good metaphor for what's just happened. She finds herself completely alone and terrified, and sets off to find her beloved Lysander. Meanwhile, in another part of the forest, we meet a group of amateur actors, a bunch of local craftsmen, or mechanicals, led by a weaver named Nick Bottom. They're rehearsing a play they hope to perform at the Duke's wedding. Their play is The Most Lamentable Comedy and Most Cruel Death of Pyramus and Thisbe, a hilariously tragic romance. Bottom, who is incredibly over the top and thinks he's the greatest actor alive, wants to play every single part. Puck stumbles upon their rehearsal and, finding it all ridiculous, decides to have some fun. When Bottom steps aside for a moment, Puck magically transforms his head into that of a donkey. When Bottom returns to the stage, his friends scream and run away in terror. Bottom, clueless about his new donkey head, thinks they're just playing a prank on him. Now, let's check back on our fairy queen. Oberon has successfully squeezed the love potion onto the sleeping Titania's eyelids. The first person she sees when she wakes up is, you guessed it, Nick Bottom, complete with his donkey head. Titania falls instantly and passionately in love with him. She lavishes him with attention, ordering her fairy attendants to wait on him hand and foot, feeding him exotic fruits and showering him with praise. Bottom, to his credit, just rolls with it, enjoying the royal treatment. Oberon is delighted with his plan. Not only is Titania hilariously infatuated with a donkey-headed man, but he's also managed to get the changeling boy from her. But his good mood sours when he realizes Puck has messed up the other part of the plan. He sees Demetrius still pursuing Hermia, who is now accusing him of harming Lysander. Oberon realizes Puck put the potion on the wrong Athenian. To fix this, he puts the love juice into Demetrius's eyes while he's asleep. Then he sends Puck to bring Helena back. When Helena arrives, Demetrius wakes up, sees her, and surprise. He's now also madly in love with her, so now we have a situation. Lysander and Demetrius, who both used to be in love with Hermia, are now both desperately in love with Helena. Helena is convinced they're both teaming up to mock her. And when Hermia finally catches up with everyone, she is utterly baffled. She can't understand why Lysander is suddenly rejecting her and fawning over Helena. This leads to a massive, chaotic four-way argument. Helena accuses Hermia of being in on the joke. Hermia thinks Helena has stolen her man. The insults fly, especially about height. Helena calls Hermia a dwarf, and Hermia calls Helena a painted maypole. Lysander and Demetrius are ready to duel to the death for Helena's love. Seeing the absolute mess he's created, Oberon orders Puck to fix it. Puck uses his magic to create a thick fog and mimics the lovers' voices, leading them on a wild goose chase until they all get tired and fall asleep in different parts of the forest. Once they're all out cold, Puck applies the antidote to Lysander's eyes, leaving the potion on Demetrius's. This way, when they wake up, Lysander will be back in love with Hermia, and Demetrius will remain in love with Helena. Love square solved. As dawn breaks, Oberon also releases Titania from her spell. She wakes up, sees the sleeping bottom, and is horrified. What visions have I seen? Methought I was enamored of an ass. Oberon, having gotten what he wanted, makes peace with her. Puck removes Bottom's donkey head, and the fairy king and queen dance off together, their relationship restored. The next morning, Duke Theseus, Hippolyta, and Aegeus are out hunting in the woods when they stumble upon the four sleeping lovers. They wake them up, and everyone is dazed and confused, remembering the night's events as a strange, foggy dream. But the outcome is perfect. Demetrius announces he now only loves Helena. Seeing that everyone is happy and properly paired off Lysander with Hermia, and Demetrius with Helena, Duke Theseus overrules Aegeus and declares that all three couples will be married together at a grand wedding celebration. The final act takes us back to the Duke's palace for the triple wedding. As part of the entertainment, they decide to watch the mechanicals play. The performance of Pyramus and Thisbe is a complete disaster, but in the most wonderful way. The actors are terrible, the script is clumsy, and the special effects are absurd. But it's so bad, it's good, and the royal couples have a great time laughing at the ridiculousness of it all. As the celebration winds down and the lovers head off to bed, the fairies, led by Oberon and Titania, sneak into the palace. They bless the house and all the newlywed couples, promising them happy lives and healthy children. Finally, Puck steps forward to address us, the audience, directly. He apologizes if the play has offended anyone and suggests that if we didn't like it, we should just think of it as a dream. He asks for our applause and bids us good night. And that's A Midsummer Night's Dream, a story that shows us how love can be fickle, irrational, and magical, all at the same time. It's a reminder that sometimes the most chaotic journeys lead to the happiest endings. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this trip into Shakespeare's enchanted forest, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more literary deep dives, and let me know in the comments which play you'd like me to cover next. See you soon.